This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, dear students, in the last session, we have discussed about cumulative distribution function and probability density functions, and also the properties of the cumulative distribution function and probability density function. And in the last session, we have discussed some problem related to cumulative distribution function and probability density function. On the other day, I gave you an assignment problem, and the same problem is shown here. A random variable x has probabilities shown in the table, and you are supposed to find the value of k, and you are supposed to find fx of x, that is cdf, and small fx of x, that is pdf, and also draw the plots. So what is the given data here? For the random variable x, the elements are -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And the corresponding probabilities are given as 0.2, 0.5k, k, 0.1, 0.3k, and k. Right? So now let us see how to find the value of k. So now let us take the help of the properties of PDF. As per the property of PDF, we can write, right, the total sum of all the probabilities must be equal to 1. We are aware of it, this particular property. The total probability is equal to 1 in the case of discrete random variables, or you can also say that the total area under the density curve is absolutely equal to 1. As we are taking the random variable as discrete, you can take the summation in the place of integration. So therefore, summation I equal to 1 to 6 p of xi equal to 1. So if I substitute all the probabilities from the given table, I can write the expression as finally 2.8k into 0.7, right? So here, by simplifying this expression, I can write the value for k as 0.25, that is 0.25. So therefore, by substituting the k value, I can write the total probability values as p of x equal to 0.2, 0.5 by 4, 0.1 by 4, 0.1, 0.3 by 4, 1 by 4. These are the probabilities, or we can also write in the decimal values, right? So that is the first problem where you need to find the value of k. And what is the second problem? You are supposed to find capital fx of x and small fx of x, right? So how to find the capital fx of x? That is capital fx of -3 to capital fx of +2. So these are the values you need to find for the discrete values of the random variable x. So therefore, fx of -3 is nothing but p of x1, or p of x equal to -3. Therefore, it is equal to 0.2. Why? Because the definition for the distribution function is fx of x equal to p of x less than or equal to x. But anyway, the minimum value itself is -3, and therefore there is no value less than -3. You can write the density distribution function value at x equal to -3 as fx of -3 equal to probability of -3, right? So now in the case of fx of -2, fx of -2 equal to p of probability of x less than or equal to -2. So therefore it is equal to probability of -3 plus probability of -2. Therefore it is equal to 0.2 plus 0.125. As a result, we get 0.325, right? Similarly, you can find fx of -1, where fx of -1 equal to p of x less than or equal to -1, which is equal to p of x equal to -3 plus p of x equal to -2 plus P of x equal to -1. And like that, you can find even the other values of the distribution function, that is fx of 0, fx of 1 and fx of 2. So these are the values you can get: fx of -1, fx of 0, fx of 1 and fx of 2. And the cumulative distribution function can be written as, therefore, we all know that the distribution function for the discrete random variable can be written as the summation p of xi into unit step functions, that is u of x minus xi. Therefore, fx of x equal to 0.2 into u of x plus 3 and up to 0.25 into u of x minus 2. So it is the functional representation of distribution function. Similarly, you can represent the density function by replacing unit step functions with the unit impulse functions. Why? Because what is the definition for density function? Summation p of xi into del of x minus xi. Therefore, the density function is equal to 0.2 into del of x plus 3 to 0.25 into del of x minus 2. And now we can also represent these two distribution and density functions in the pictorial way by plotting the graphs. That is, here the two plots will be like this. The distribution function will be a staircase function for the discrete random variable. At the same time, the density function is a series of impulses. So therefore, the two plots will appear like this, right? So this is the way to solve the problem to find the distribution and density functions, right? So here, so far we have discussed about distribution and density function properties and also application of them in the problems. So now let us move on to some standard random variables. And anyway, in your curriculum, some standard random variables are given, and in fact, it is not limited to only these random variables. In real time, as I said on the other day, all the experiments or all the real life problems are probabilistic models. So to analyze such models, you need to define the random variable by taking all the outcomes. And after taking the random variable, you are supposed to represent either distribution function or density function. So by knowing the distribution and density function, you can find the probabilities in which are required for the analysis, right? So now, therefore, let us move on to some standard random variables. So here we are going to discuss discrete random variables and continuous random variables. And the discrete random variables, we discuss about basically three random variables as per your curriculum, that is Bernoulli random variable, binomial random variable and Poisson random variable. And when the random variable is said to be Bernoulli, let us take the first one, Bernoulli. So when, for example, one experiment is done, I would like to analyze such experiment. And to analyze such experiment, I am supposed to take the outputs of that experiment, and by knowing the outcomes, I am supposed to define the random variable, and for that I need to represent either distribution or density function. Then only I can analyze such an experiment, right? So when the random variable is said to be Bernoulli, when we can consider for particular experiment and the random variable for particular experiment as Bernoulli random variable, here is the scenario. And basically, Bernoulli distribution is used for events with trial, only one trial, that is one chance, and two possible outcomes. Two possible outcomes, only one trial with two possible outcomes. Best example is tossing a coin. That is, when you toss a coin once, you may get either head or tail. Only two possibilities. Similarly, here in a quiz, either you can say true or false, or in elections like US elections, you are supposed to elect either Democratic or Republican party. Unlike India, in USA, so in our India, we may have n number of parties, so therefore we may have n number of options in the ballot paper. But whereas in the US, only you have two options, that is either Democratic or Republican. So there you are supposed to select only one, and only two possible outcomes we have, right? So here these are the best examples where you can apply the Bernoulli random variable, right? So here the functional way you can represent like this: either it takes 0 or 1. The random variable may take the values 0 or 1. And if x is a random variable with the distribution, that is PR of x equal to 1 equal to p, or equal to 1 minus q, where q is the probability of occurrence of 0 and p is probability of occurrence of 1, right? And then the probability mass function for such a random variable, as f of k p equal to p in the case of if k equal to 1 and q if k equal to 0. Only two possibilities for the density function, right? Or in the standard form, I can also write like this: p power k into 1 minus p power 1 minus k, and the k may be 0 or 1. Only two possibilities, 0 or 1. The density function will be p power k into 1 minus p power 1 minus k. In fact, it is a special case for binomial distribution, which we are going to discuss in the next slide, right? So distribution with n equal to 1 can be considered as Bernoulli distribution. Binomial distribution with n equal to 1 can be considered as Bernoulli distribution, right? And binomial random variable, in the name itself, binomial, that is, here also we consider only two possible outcomes, but the number of trials are not restricted to one as Bernoulli. Here, a random variable x is said to be binomial random variable if it has the density function and distribution functions of the form, which form? Fx of x equal to summation k equal to 0 to n nck. That representation is nck, p power k into 1 minus p power n minus k into del of x minus k. Why I am writing del of x minus k? Why? Because the random variable is discrete random variable. Therefore, the coefficient of this particular unit impulse function represents the probability value. Why? Which probability value? Here, p of x, right? And nck, you all know that nck in the sense the combination factor, right? So nck p power k into 1 minus p whole power n minus k. That is the definition of density function for the binomial random variable. Similarly, the distribution function can be represented like this: summation k equal to 0 to n nck p power k into 1 minus p power n minus k u of x minus k. As I said, always for the distribution function, for the discrete random variable, the distribution function must be with unit step functions, right? And always this coefficient represent the probability value. And what is that p here? Always the p lies between 0 and 1, and capital N values maybe depends on the number of trials in the experiment, 1, 2, and so on, right? You all know that nck in the sense combination value, that is n factorial by k factorial into n minus k factorial. And here, for example, where you can take this particular binomial distribution. For example, here I am just tossing 10 coins, or 10 times I am tossing the coin. A single coin tossed for 10 times. So ultimately here I may expect either tail or head in each and every attempt. And now I am considering a random variable which is nothing but number of heads from 10 coin tosses, right? The number of heads may be 0, or maybe 1, or maybe 2, or 3, or maybe all heads, that is 10 heads, right? So here, therefore, by representing the probability of the occurrence of each and every outcome, I can draw the distribution, and that distribution can be represented as binomial distribution. That is, if I toss the coin for 10 times and the outcomes are, I mean, the random variable is represented, or random variable is considered as number of heads. And here, these are x-axis is representing elements of the random variable, that is 0 number of hits, 1 number of hits, 2 number of hits, or 10 number of hits. And that y-axis is representing the probability values of each occurrence, right? And therefore, how can I write the probability here? P of x equal to, as per the definition of the binomial distribution, I can take the probability as nck or ncx into p power x into 1 minus p power n minus x, right? In the definition I have taken k, but here I can also write nck or ncx into p power x into 1 minus p power n minus x. So it is the standard formula for finding the probability for a binomial random variable case, right? And for the binomial random variable x, let us assume in an experiment to be binomial random variable, and we need to satisfy some conditions. There are some prerequisites for the random variable to be binomial, right? So what are the prerequisites? There are two potential outcomes per trial, two potential. That is, in the previous experiment, while tossing a coin, two potential outcomes, that is either head or tail. Similarly, the probability of success is the same across all the trials. For example, I'm assuming that getting the head is success, right? So in all the trials, and that particular success probability must be same in all the trials. In the previous case, 10 trials, right? So now the number always, and at the same time, the number of trials is fixed. Number of trials is fixed. In the previous example, 10 is the number of trials. That is fixed. It may be 100, it may be 1000, but it must be fixed. And each trial is independent, in the sense no biasing should be there. And if I take the experiment for 10 times, and all the 10 experiments or 10 trials must be independent. It should not depend on the previous one, right? And these are the prerequisites for the random variable to be binomial. And here, coming to the applications of binomial random variable, in which area you can use this particular binomial random variable, or in which area you can consider the distribution as binomial distribution, in which experiment you can consider binomial random variable, is nothing but application, right? So what are the applications here? Here we can assume the number of defective or non-defective products in a production run. Here the number of defective or non-defective products in a production run can be assumed as a binomial random variable. And at the same time, here yes or no survey, such as asking 150 people if they watch ABC News. When asked a question, will you see ABC News? Will you watch ABC News? Then ultimately your answer may be either yes or no, right? So here I'm considering, that is, I'm conducting the same experiment, that is asking the same question 150 times, but the outcome is only two possibilities, that is yes or no outcome, right? So therefore such outcome can be represented by using binomial random variable, right? And vote counts for a candidate in an election. Just in the previous slide itself, I have given the example for US elections. Vote counts for a candidate in an election, and the number of successful sales calls. Successful, that is when I call as a customer executive, Here, if I call any customer, here I may get the sale or may not get the sale. Only two possibilities, right? And the number of male or female workers in a company. For example, if I select any one particular candidate, he may be male or female, right? So in such example, I can take the binomial random variable. Best example, let me take a problem here. For example, studies show color blindness affects about 8% of men. 8% of men. A random sample of 10 men is taken. So here, color blindness is the experiment here. Color blindness affects about 8% of men. So out of 100, 8 members are with color blindness. I am just selecting randomly 10 members, 10 men. And here the probability, therefore, how do you write the probability? If I consider any particular person, he may have color blindness or may not have color blindness. But what is the probability of having the color blindness? As the given data is saying that 8% of the men are with color blindness. Ultimately, here the probability of having the color blindness is 8 by 100. That is 0.808, right? And ultimately here I am selecting how many members? 10 members. That is, I am just conducting color blindness test for how many times? 10 times. For why? Because for 10 members I am conducting the test. Therefore, n equal to 10. And now what are you supposed to find? Find the probability that all 10 men are colorblind. That is, I am selecting 10 members. And what is the probability that 10 men are colorblind? Second one, no men are colorblind. No men, that is out of 10, 10 members are with no blind, that is with no color blind. And exactly 2 men are colorblind. Out of 10, 2 men are with color blind. Last one is at least 2 men are colorblind. At least in the sense, maybe 2 men, maybe 3 men, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, or maybe up to 10 members. At least 2 in the selection. How do you take? Right? So that is the problem. Can you try it? I'll explain here, and later you can solve the other problem. Right, first case, all 10 men are with color blind. How do you find the probability? Right? For example, first one, all 10 men are color blind. Right? So here 10 members are selected. First one, what is the probability? 0.08 color blindness probability. Second one also same probability. Third one also same probability. Like the 10 members are having almost all same probability. Therefore, the total probability that the 10 members are with color blindness is P of x equal to 10, 0.08 power 10. That is equal to 1.07 into 10 power minus 11. Like that you can solve. No men are with colorblind in the sense. No men are colorblind. So that is 0.08. Probability is 0.08 or 8% chance for color blindness. And the remaining is for no color blindness. That is 92% chance for no color blindness. Right? So what is the question given here? No men are with color blind. I think you got the idea, right? So how do you get? See there, no men are with color blind. 10 members, 92% chance, 0.92. So therefore, 0.92 per 10 power 10 or P of x equal to 0, 0 color blindness, right? So like this, you can find the total probability, that is probability of no men are color blind, right? Third question, exactly 2 men are colorblind. Out of 10, 2 men are colorblind. How do you solve the problem? 2 men. That is, for example, if I say first 2 are with color blindness, all are with no color blindness. So therefore, the probability I can take 0.92, right? 92% chance for no color blind. only first two are with color blindness. So shall I select only first two? If I select first two, 0.08 power 2 into 0.92 power 8. If I say 1 and 3 are 2 and 4, then also 2 are with color blindness and the remaining are with no color blindness. Ultimately, the probability value will not change. Any combination you can take, right? But here, for the exact value, what to do? It may be 1, 3, 1, 4, or 9, 10. So therefore, I need to check, I need to select any two. Only two members with color blindness, any two. It may be 1, 2, it may be 3, 4, it may be 5, 6. So therefore, I have to apply selection. So therefore, I have to use combination, that is 10C2. That is, in how many possible ways you can arrange. The two members can be selected in how many possible ways? 10C2 into 0.08 power 2 into 0.92 power 8. That is the probability of x equal to 2. That is, two men are with color blindness, right? Here, two men are with color blindness. So, for example, if I represent in the pictorial way, that is distribution represented in the graphical way. How do you represent NC? Just now we have seen color blindness, right? Two members are with color blindness, that is 10C2 into 0.08 power 2 into 0.92 power 8. If three people with color blindness, I should say 10C3 into 0.08 power 3 into 0.92 power 7. Like that, I can write all the probability values. P of x equal to 0, P of x equal to 1, P of x equal to 2. By representing all of them, I can just represent the binomial function, right? Binomial function, probability function, right? So how the probability is distributed, right? So here, for example, 10 members with color blindness. Just in the previous slide only, we have done the problem as a first question, a bit, right? 1.07 into 10 power minus 11. So if I draw this particular figure in the graphical way, if I represent, I can find any probabilities of interest, any probability value of interest. So therefore, always it is better to represent graphically whenever the problem is given, right? So now let us move on to the fourth one. At least two men are with color blindness. So therefore, I should say at least two. So therefore, two members may be with color blindness, three members may be with color blindness, and so on. Therefore, I should add all the probabilities. P of x equal to 2 plus P of x equal to 3 plus P of x equal to 4 up to P of x equal to 10. Anyway, I've just drawn the graphical representation. Therefore, from the graph, I can take all the probabilities, I can add together. And in fact, if I add 8 probability values, it may take much time. So we have another option. We all know that the total probability in any experiment is 1, right? So therefore here, instead of taking the sum of all the probabilities from 2, I can take the value as 1 minus the rest of the probabilities. That is P of x equal to 0 and P of x equal to 1. That is P of x less than 2, right? So see there, at least two men are colorblind. So P of x greater than 2 is how much? That is what our question. From the 2, I should add all the values up to 10, right? Or I can go for second option. So what is the second option? As I said, P of x greater than or equal to 2 is nothing but 1 minus P of x less than or equal to 1. In the discrete case, I can say x less than 2 or x less than or equal to 1, right? So 1 minus probability of x less than or equal to 1 in the sense 1 minus P of x equal to 0 minus P of x equal to 1. Isn't it or not? Only two probability values we have before 2, right? 1 minus P of x equal to 1 minus P of x equal to 0. You just substitute the values, you will get the probability value. That is the fourth question given in the problem. So this is the way to find out the probabilities, right? In fact, that is also similar to the sum of all the probabilities. And the next one is Poisson random variable, the third one, right? So far we have seen Bernoulli random variable, binomial random variable, right? Now we are moving to Poisson random variable. A random variable X is said to be Poisson random variable if it has the density and distribution functions of the form. So what must be the density function? For the function to be a Poisson random variable, Poisson is also discrete, so therefore the density function will be always here the series of impulses. This coefficient represents the probability values. I can write this density function as e power minus b into b power k by k factorial. E power minus b into b power k by k factorial. Or in some literature, in some textbooks, you can also find the definition like this. In terms of lambda, here it is represented with the b, but here in terms of lambda also you can write. In the place of e power minus b, we have e power minus lambda, right? So that is b is nothing but lambda. In fact, it is a mean value or average value, right? Or average rate, I can say. Lambda is nothing but average rate. So you just remember the two formulae, and here the probability value can be represented in terms of b or in terms of lambda. Am I clear? Right? Or the distribution function can be represented as in terms of unit step functions, u of x minus k, right? The probability value retains same, right? Where b is a real constant and the b cannot be a complex value or imaginary value, and always it is a positive real constant. It should be positive value. The mean value must be positive. That is Poisson. And where can I use this Poisson? I know where to use Bernoulli. I know where to use binomial, and where the possible outcomes are two. I can go with one Bernoulli or binomial, and single trial Bernoulli, multiple trials binomial. And where should I use this Poisson? Right. So here the Poisson can be used the number of to and the Poisson random variable can be considered like this: the number of aircraft or road accidents in any time interval. So here the specific point is time. So here always we are going to consider a particular time interval. In time interval, that experiment can be considered, right? So what is the random variable here? The number of aircraft or road accidents in any time interval. The number of arrivals in any service facility, maybe like an ATM or a bank or a railway station or a gas station or a petrol pump, right? So the number of arrivals, maybe cars, maybe vehicles, maybe human, right? Number of arrivals in a particular duration, maybe from morning 9 to evening 9. In particular duration, the number can be considered as a Poisson random variable, right? So here for a month, over a month, for 30 days, from 9 to 9, how many members are entering into ATM or bank can be considered as a Poisson random variable. Or number of deliveries in an hospital, in any hospital, if you consider the number of deliveries for 1 year, 365 days, number of deliveries can be considered as a Poisson random variable. Why? Because these numbers are not fixed, random in nature. Therefore, that can be considered as a random variable, right? The number of beds occupied in a large hospital or a hotel, right? Or hotel can be considered as a Poisson random variable. The number of visitors to the mall or exhibition, the number of clicks on any website, number of clicks can be considered as a random variable. For example, over a duration, particular duration, the number of clicks can be considered as a Poisson random variable. And number of telephone calls made through any phone, number of telephone calls, number of defects in any gadgets like a computer or a washing machine or etc. So n number of examples we have to apply the Poisson random variable, or to consider that particular random variable as a Poisson random variable, right? And here also we do have some assumptions like prerequisites in the binomial random variable case. So what are the assumptions you need to take? The rate at which events occur is constant. The rate in the sense per unit time. Per unit time must be constant. And the occurrence of one event does not affect the occurrence of subsequent event. That is independent. All the events must be independent. For example, here if I take arrivals to the petrol pump, number of cars or number of buses, and number of number of two-wheelers. So that is all the events must be independent, right? These are the assumptions you need to take for defining the Poisson random variable. Simple problem let us take related to Poisson. Past experience shows that there on average are 2 traffic accidents on a particular stretch or a road every week. For example, a road is considered. On the road, from the previous experience, what it is saying, on an average 2 traffic accidents every week. So per week 2 traffic accidents. What is the probability of 4 accidents during a randomly selected week? I'm selecting, let us assume this week. So what is the probability of having 4 accidents? So here on an average 2 accidents, in the sense 1 week maybe 0 accidents, 1 week maybe 10 accidents, 1 week maybe 1 accident, but on an average 2 accidents, right? So here what is the probability of 4 accidents during a randomly selected week? No accidents during a randomly selected week, right? So what are you supposed to do here? So what is the random variable here? What is the random variable here? Can you try the problem here? Try to think once. Right. What is the random variable? Number of accidents is the random variable. So what are you supposed to find? Number of accidents equal to 4. What is the probability of number of accidents equal to 4? First question. What is the probability of number of accidents equal to 0? Second question. Am I right? So mean value. What is the average value here? 2 per week. Lambda is given. And what is the unit period here? Per week. 2 per week. Right? So therefore, so we use the formula for Poisson random variable. Therefore, the probability equal to, as per the formula, e power minus lambda by lambda into lambda power k by k factorial. Right? If I substitute the lambda value, what is the probability? P of x equal to k is e power minus 2 into 2 power k by 2k factorial. You can also substitute the e power minus 2 value, which is equal to 0.1353. That is the general formula in this case when lambda equal to 2. Now coming to the question. So what is the question? P of x equal to 4 needs to be calculated, right? So k, in the place of k you should write 4, right? So therefore P of x equal to 4 is how much? E power minus 2 into 2 power 4 by 4 factorial. If I substitute all the values in the given expression, I can get the percentage as 9%, or the probability of occurring 4 accidents in the selected week is 0.0902, right? Similarly, second question, 0 accidents, in the sense k must be equal to 0. If k equal to 0, e power minus 2 into 2 power 0 by 0 factorial. We all know that 0 factorial is 1. By substituting that particular 0 factorial and 2 power 0 in the expression, I can get the probability of getting 0 accidents in the selected week is 0.1353, or 13.53%, right? So this is the way to find the probabilities by using the given data when the random variable is Poisson, right? So now in this class, what we have discussed, Finally, some standard random variables, right? And in that case, discrete random variables are considered. Bernoulli random variable, binomial random variable, Poisson random variable. Bernoulli random variable and binomial random variable cases are only when the outcomes of the experiment are only with two possibilities, right? Whereas the Poisson is ultimately depends on only time dependent, based on the time, right? And in the next session, we are going to start standard random variables in the continuous, right? Thank you.